I want to start off by saying I have no beef against the College Humor people. They seem nice. The content is not like super political or anything, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful or drag anybody. But you may have heard this is a big story. College Humor is basically going under, and it's kind of crazy to me because they have like 13 million subscribers, 13.6 million subscribers. How can you be so big but fail? Well, actually, I'm going to tell you my thoughts. And again, I'm trying to be nice because I have no beef with any of these people, but man, the content is all really, really bad. Like, I heard some people complaining about College Humor being like progressive, millennial, whatever. And I don't know that to be the case. They actually have a bunch of really, really funny segments. Like the really funny one they do is if Google was a guy. And I kind of feel like they do that a lot because I've seen it before and it is funny. But most of their segments are about the same people sitting around being like quirky millennials making really cringy things. And they don't get that many views. I mean, like, I'll be honest. You know, they get like 200 to 300,000 on for most videos, and some of them get like 1.1 million. But you know, what's kind of confusing to me is that there's so many people shocked to find out that when you make bad content and run a bad business that you actually go out of business. And now there are a lot of people shocked that there's going to be over 100 layoffs. And again, you know, this is not the same thing as like these media companies that, you know, chase after a political narrative to hurt people. I think this is actually just an example of, you know, let's be real. Sometimes your company fails. College Humor was very different back in the day when it launched. It had really funny segments, I remember, but they were more like viral segments and they're bigger ones. And if you look now, their actual like sketches that are unique tend to do well, like GoFundMe CEO or Jewel CEO, or if Google was a guy. These are all segments where you have actual individuals doing a bit. And most of these other segments, maybe I'm wrong, but I've clicked a bunch. You can see the ones I've clicked. They're all like the same thing. It's like these quirky millennials sitting around complaining about something, and it's the same thing. So what I want to do with this segment is I'm not trying to be like, I got no beef. I'm not trying to be like, haha, like, you know, like gloating or anything. No, I'm bummed because people were watching it, you know, and if you like the content, you know, rad. It's kind of crazy to me that a channel can have 13.6 million subscribers, but get around the same amount of views that I do on my videos when I have 600,000. So I think you're doing something wrong, okay? Like you got to figure out how you can get back to reaching a larger audience, and maybe it just didn't work out. I feel like a lot of these bits are kind of funny, but they drag them out really long, and then it's just like you get a chuckle. Anyway, here's the point. Adam Conover, who does that show, what does he do? That show, he ruins everything. Adam ruins everything. You know what the problem I have with Adam Ruins Everything is that he actually gets a lot of things wrong all the time. I think it's cool he's actually pointed this out before. But the show actually does a decent job, like, you know, better, more often than not. But he did this Twitter thread back in October that's kind of correct. And I think kind of correct is the best example of what's wrong with Adam Ruins Everything. And I think it's what's wrong with a lot of how people view business. So here's what I want to get to first. First and foremost, your business be losing money, and they acknowledge that. This dude, what's his name? Sam Reich said, while we are on the way to becoming profitable, we were nonetheless losing money, and I have no money to be able to lose. So this is not the worst case of like spoiled and entitled individual millennial people kind of people complaining about it's not fair, our company's going under. No, they get it. They don't got money. They got to lay people off. They're going to try and fix it, and I can respect that. But I want to show you this thread from Adam Conover, and I want to talk about how Google and Facebook are evil. I want to explain what I was saying just now about College Humor and why the system is screwed up. Let me just start by saying this. Look at this video you're watching right now. How much effort did I really put into this video? I got to admit, not a whole lot. I turned the camera on, there's a very nice microphone attached to it, and I can produce really long content stuffed with advertisements, and all I have to do is be me. I'm really good at talking forever. In fact, I'm quite annoying when you know me in person because I talk forever. But that gives me an advantage based on the algorithm. The problem that College Humor made, and most of these businesses make, is that they're giving their companies to Google. I am actively doing the opposite. I started my company for the most part here, and I'm slowly moving out and branching out, and I fully recognize at any point they could destroy me, like they've done to College Humor, like Facebook did. In this thread from Adam Conover, he kind of gets it right, just like his show. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm not, no beef. I just think he kind of gets things right, meaning he kind of gets them wrong. He talks about how Facebook told everybody, you gotta do videos on the platform because look how big the views are. But it turns out that the metrics were inflated by 150 to 900%. I was in a meeting in San Francisco, sitting down with some people from a variety of companies, one of which I worked for and some other companies, and they were all like hooting and hollering about how, Facebook video is so great, how the metrics are amazing, and how we can sell ads against this. And I kept saying, don't do it, don't do it. Nobody uses Facebook. You can't search for videos. There's no core community. It is a bad move. Now, to be honest, I do put my videos up on Facebook. I actually have a company that runs it for me because there's no reason not to do it, but you can't focus your business there. And to a certain degree, you can't focus your core business on YouTube either. The problem, however, that Adam Conover only sort of got right in this whole issue, CollegeHumor is not going out of business because of Facebook videos or because of some plot by their parent company to cut them off. The company that owns them, IAC, is selling the company. No, they're selling the company because you don't make money. And the reason you're going under is not because of Facebook, partly, it's because you don't make money. But here's why I say kind of right. You see, Adam Conover talks about how Facebook convinced all of these companies to pivot to Facebook to launch video, video channels, and they were no longer now linking to their own content. He says this, we posted links to Facebook, of course, but the links led to our site. I specifically remember the fateful day someone said, you have to see the numbers native video gets on Facebook. They're insane. Too good to pass up. So we started posting videos natively to Facebook instead. The problem? No way to monetize. That's not Facebook's problem. That's your ad sales department's problem. You can monetize by doing native ads in the videos. He says, in fact, instead of viewers coming to our site and seeing ads, Facebook's model is to charge you for access to your fans. Site traffic plummeted, so did ad rates and thus video budgets. Our FB views were awesome, but we now know those were a lie. The result? The beautiful constellation of independent comedy sites that represented a new emerging middle class of content creation shrunk and in many places collapsed, all because of Facebook's falsified viewer data. Technically true. He says a few provosos. YouTube was not the internet swallowing behemoth it became in those days. It's quite possible that YouTube would have eviscerated the business in exactly the same way, but it was very apparent at the time that the real shift was Facebook. Now let me explain something why this is wrong. Facebook was de-ranking publishers anyway. It wouldn't matter if you made videos or not. If you kept publishing links in the same way, Facebook was no longer sharing that with people. What this means is when you relied on Facebook's algorithm to drive traffic to your website, you were giving away your business, and that's what Facebook did. Now, I will solely point the finger at how evil Facebook is, because the real reason the company died is not because Facebook lied about video views. It's because Facebook has swallowed the internet, and most people find articles through Facebook, and Facebook now controls whether or not anyone can see you. Congratulations. But Google does the same thing. And that brings me now to the final nail in the coffin for CollegeHumor. In October, Adam Conover said, the issue was Facebook video views, kind of right. The real issue is that Facebook decided to end you. They said, we don't care who you are, what you produce. We want people to stay on Facebook, not go to collegehumor.com. Thus, you're gone. And now that brings me to the end based on Google. 13.6 million subscribers. Now, there's two things to say here. First, the algorithm changes. What YouTube is going to promote is going to be very, very different as time goes on. This includes me. A lot of people are freaking out claiming political censorship on YouTube, and it exists. We can see that several channels, including mine, this one, you can't Google search. Yeah, that makes literally no sense. If you search for Timcast YouTube, you'd think one of my channels would come up. They don't. The same is true for Sargon and Dankula. So we know there is an effort to suppress certain kinds of content. However, there's also general algorithmic changes when certain kinds of content starts dominating that they don't like. Well, CollegeHumor produces videos that seem to average out to about 4 minutes. They do seem kind of drawn out. I gotta say, I think these are kind of cringy, and I couldn't get past even the beginnings because most of these are the same thing. So you've turned your company of 13.6 million subscribers from these higher profile. Let's do this. Let's sort by oldest and see where they came from and where they are now. Back in the day, They made Street Fighter later years, Nintendo Wii rejected game concepts, Girls Costume Warehouse. These are all independent skits. Today, they seem to be doing a ton of the same people sitting around doing quirky millennial things. Yeah, eventually people don't want to watch that, at least that's what I think. But then you end up with the bigger problem that the content they produce doesn't fit the actual algorithm anymore. And this is the problem of dedicating your business to YouTube. I, on the other hand, am continually launching new channels and new companies because the business moves. To put it this way, imagine you opened a pizza shop and the city could move the streets around. And now when you started your business, you were downtown and you had amazing foot traffic, you're shocked. The city, pressed the button and your shop moved to the suburbs. And now you're like, nobody comes here anymore. What do I do? Well, you have to move with the algorithm, okay? So while I mean no beef to call out, College Humor, look what they have here, right? If Google was a guy 5 years ago, got 50 million views, and then what did they do a month ago? They did literally the same thing, part 12, if Google was a guy. You keep doing the same thing, and it worked. 5.4 million views, congratulations. But at a certain point, it's not gonna fit the algorithm anymore. I don't blame College Humor for this. If people subscribe, people should see the videos. It's also possible people just don't click them anymore because your videos went from being sketches to a group of quirky millennials complaining about stuff. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but that's what I see. I'll point out, they've replaced you with me. You see, College Humor used to make videos that went viral because they were funny sketches that made kind of a certain point that people related to, comedy. And then people would share it. Facebook restricted access to certain links, so they're not going to share your videos or your website anymore. Facebook doesn't want people to go there. Then YouTube started saying, we want longer form videos. That's not you guys. Now you're out of business. I don't think we can function this way because while in the real world, if you own a shop, you can keep running your business. Granted, if you make pizza and you eventually start making bad pizza, people are not going to buy your pizza anymore. And I think that's what we're seeing with College Humor. It's also messed up that you can have a dedicated business and then somebody moves it, like the location moves. But let me wrap up with this. I don't know why they're doing these really highly produced millennial complain things, and I don't know exactly what they could do to solve their problem, but market competition is another massive reason why everyone suffers. I'm one person. I make content that fits the algorithm. I get it. And in the end, I can pay myself whatever I want. So if you have 5 people, a staff, 2 camera people, a sound guy, an editor, you're not going to survive. So this is the end of an era. College Humor probably should exist in some form, except, I gotta tell you, maybe you shouldn't because you're just doing too many of these quirky millennial complain videos. But if you did better sketches, I would be sad to see College Humor go. They're gonna survive now with around 5 employees, but it's partly end of an era. And I know there's a lot going on here, but I'm gonna wrap it up here because you get the point. The point is, 1, sometimes businesses fail. They're not, freaking out about it. They're pointing out that they were losing money. And I think they've been good sports about it for the most part. Not like a lot of other companies. I think they got to clean up their content. But I also do think the biggest issue is that we're entering a business era where Facebook and Google own and control everything and can snap their fingers and end your business. So for whatever reason, I wanted to talk about this because I saw it. No beef to the College Humor people. This is not one of these videos where I'm like, leftist media is going down. No, their content's fine. It's humor. But you know what? It's too expensive. You got to cut your costs down. And maybe they'll pull out, maybe they'll survive. But I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got another video coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.